Okay, well, welcome. We will start our meeting shortly. Well, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Deputy Director of Illinois Works, Dr. Norman Ruano, we want to welcome you all to this meeting tonight. Thank you for joining the fourth and final installation of This Is My Trade, hosted by the Illinois Works and Chicago Women in Trades, where today's panelists are bricklayers, tile setters, and tuck pointers. My name is Dr. Carlita Alston, and I am one of the professional development team members for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Joining me tonight is Ms. Kanisha Jones and Mr. Shiva Redding and Dr. Gia Suggs, who will be providing virtual production support. Please say hello, Kanisha and Shiva.
Everyone.
Hello.
Thank you. And as I mentioned to you earlier, a copy of this recording will be posted on our partner guide, and a link is going to be provided for you to copy it down for later access. After the panel discussion, we would like for you to take a little bit of a journey with us to give us feedback on a short survey using Mentimeter, and you will see the Mentimeter in the multimedia viewer on the right-hand panel of your screen. And now I will introduce to you your host for tonight, Director of Chicago Women in Trades, Ms. Renee Jones.
Thank you, and welcome everyone. Welcome to This Is My Trade panel, our Bricklayers edition. And I'm so happy you have all been here able to join us tonight to share the knowledge, experience, and opportunities within the bricklayer trades. And whether you're just new to getting knowledge about construction, this is a space to connect, ask questions, and learn as much as you can about these trades. And I want to thank our panelists. We have Essence Wallace with over 5 years experience as a bricklayer, Nelda Ramirez, with over 8 years experience as a tile setter, and Erica Denton with over 7 years experience as a tuck pointer. So hopefully we'll have an engaging and productive session this evening. I'm going to start off by asking Essence, can you give us an introduction of who you are and tell us about what you do in the trades as a bricklayer?
Alrighty. Well, my name is Essence. She's mentioned I am a bricklayer. I've been doing it for 5 years. I am me. I grew up exactly in the house I am in now. I've born and raised west side of Chicago. Um, Went through program after well, I'm not gonna say program after program. Chicago Women in Trades was really my only program that I had to go through, but did everything, high school, college, trades. Um, but the trades was for me mostly, which is why I stuck with it. And that's why I'm here today.
Go ahead. Okay, so can you tell us how many years of experience or how many years of training does it take to journey out as a bricklayer?
So to journey out as a bricklayer, you need 3 years, but that has to be 3 years of work hours. Um, During those 3 years, you start off well. When you first start off as a bricklayer, you start off as a on 50% scale of a journeyman, which right now I believe is around like $26, 26 to 27. After you do that, uh, not only do you go through training, on the job and stuff like that, your work hours, but you do also have to go to school for 1 week, Monday through Thursday, 10 hours a day, every 3 months. So they'll call you or text you letting you know, hey, you got class this week, you got to be there. And the way our union goes is you can't miss class. If you miss class, you can't get your raise. So you got to go through that. Me personally, I did take a little longer because I got to a point in my apprenticeship where I was about to journey out, and I felt like I didn't know all that I did need to know. So I decided to take a step back from putting in my hours and doing things like that so I can get a bit more knowledge. But it should take you, if you do have a great foreman, if you have just great skills, period, you should be able to finish no problem in the 3 years.
So take me to the beginning. As soon as you become or notified that you have been accepted to become an apprentice, do you start in class for 1 week and then get placed on
Oh
the job?
no. So the way ours go is the minute they tell you that you're accepted, you're now accepted into our pre-job, which is basically like you get as much knowledge as you need to know for them to send you out of the field. But ours go, you have certain tests that you have to pass to stay into the pre-job. So the first few weeks you'll have a block test, which is can you build up 7 courses of block in about an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half. You pass that, great. They start to teach you knowledge about brick because a lot of people think they hear bricklayer and they think we just work with bricks, but we gotta build a block wall before we could build a brick wall. Um,
When
once
you
they
s-
st-
I'm sorry, when you say block, are you saying cinder block?
cinder blocks, CMUs.
Mhm.
So those blocks that people, those nice big thick gray blocks that some people put under their beds or that some people use to hold up pallet jacks, stuff like that, we actually use to put those into a wall. Um, so you have to get knowledge on that first because that's the first thing you're going to touch when you hit the field. Um, After that, after you get that knowledge, they start to teach you about brick. Now you have another test that you have to take. That's about 9 courses of brick in about a good hour and 10 minutes. Once you pass that, you're a bricklayer basically after that. You start working on your final project to show your family so they could come see you during your graduation. And as you guys are working on that, your coordinator should be working on placing you with a company. Some of us are able to leave before others, because some companies do be needing people like right there. Others of us, we get to show off our projects. We get to be proud of what we did. We get to get our certificate in hand instead of in the mail or stuff like that. And then you go off, you venture off like a baby out of the nest, and you go do what you're supposed to do. But you come check in when you need to check in, and yeah,
How often do they open the applications up for bricklayers? Do you know?
applications is open all year round. But
And is, go ahead.
arts, yeah, we keep them open, so we're not like a few other trades to where they only open a certain time of year and then they take a bunch of applicants and then they shut it down. No, ours is open definitely all year round. Our thing is every January. That's when we start trying to bring people in to take the aptitude test and all of this stuff. And this is for, I believe, all of our trades that we have in there. I think they all come at the same time. You pick which one you want to be, and then that's when they let you know, hey, your aptitude test is this day, and if you pass that, your interview is this day, and if you pass that, your drug test is this day. So, yeah.
Is there another way to get into becoming a bricklayer besides going the route of applications and going to school? Can you get sponsored into?
Yeah, 100%. If you know a company that they know you and they know that you will work and they're willing to just help you get your foot in the door, that company will sponsor you. And a sponsorship is basically, hey, I'm putting this person into the pre-job so they could get their union card so they could come work for me. You know, I feel like honestly, if you get a sponsorship, you're kind of like one of the best positions because you know you're going to a job the minute you leave here. You know you're going to a job probably right after you pass that brick test. They just needed your card. So I feel like if you could get a sponsorship, then you're definitely going to be like you're going to be in a great position.
Okay, so can you tell us some of the requirements to apply as an applicant for the bricklayers? What is required?
Really simple for us. Really simple. We used to accept diplomas, but now you just got to be 18. Driver's license, uh US citizen, and you just got to be able to pass a drug test. If you could do all of those, you're fine. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
of course, the aptitude test and stuff like that. You have to be able, and it's a really easy test. Basic math, basic reading, basic multiplication, addition, subtraction. But other than that, really, really simple stuff to get you started.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Essence.
Hmm.
Nelda. And let me make everyone understand. Bricklayer, under the umbrella bricklayer, is the tile setters and the tuck pointers, and there are more. But let's talk to Nelda about tile setting.
Hi,
Hey,
I'm
Nelda.
Nelda. I'm a tile setter. Uh, I am born and raised in Chicago, and I became a tile setter by accident. Um, unfortunately, fortunately, I took the Chicago Women in Trades class, and the day we were going to the Bricklayers, I didn't want to go to school. I was like, I'm gonna skip this. There's no way I ever want to be a bricklayer. But I went and I discovered the whole other side. There's tile. So unfortunately, they did not show us that. So I did my own research, being the person I am, because I was like, oh my God, this is a trade. This is someone's job. That's amazing. I love tile. So I did my own research and I went to a like open house thing where Chicago Women in Trades had brochures for, and I met my boss there, and I got sponsored into the tile setting program, which was pretty awesome. And I do work for a woman, and I told her, I wanted to get in the trades. I'm your girl. I'm serious, and thank God she sponsored me.
Hmm.
So, and I've been with her for almost 8 years in my whole career.
So for the apprenticeship program, is it the same as the bricklayers? Are the classes the same? What is the difference?
So the tile is 5 weeks of the pre-apprenticeship, and then after the 5 weeks, they get you off to the job, and then you go back every month for 2 times out of the month.
Okay. When you finish with the 5 weeks, you're placed on the job and you are considered an apprentice once you're placed on the job and a pre-apprentice while you're in class.
Right. The pre-apprenticeship is unpaid. They give you
Mhm.
a stipend. I think it's like $50 a week, and then after that you make I believe they start at like 25 now an hour, and then you're an apprenticeship, and your apprenticeship. So it's a little confusing. When you start in the tile, you start as a finisher. You are not a setter. You are a finisher, which is basically like a laborer to the setters. You grout, you get the tile, you make cuts, you do everything for us to just be efficient and set our tile. So that's what everyone starts as, and that's about a 2-year program. And then you can stay a finisher, which they top off at 48 an hour, and then you can become a tile setter, and that's another 2 years.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the length of the apprenticeship, you have to be a finisher for 4 years, you say?
For two.
For 2 years, and then you could become a towel setter.
Correct, for
Okay,
another 2 years, so
okay.
total 4. So that's honestly why I also got into the tile setting, because at the age I got into the trades, I was like, I want to get $48 an hour in 2 years. Because every other trade is
Yes,
like 4 to 5 years.
yes.
So I was like, this is perfect. This is for me. And it's indoors. Honestly, I was looking for a trade that was indoors. I'm born and raised in Chicago. I know the weather. And
Yes,
I was being realistic. I'm not an outside cold girly. Like, no. And I wanted to work year round.
absolutely. And would you say for your trade for 8 years, you have been steadily employed as a towel setter?
Yes. I'm actually a foreman now. I've been a foreman for the past year and a half. Thank you. And I haven't even journeyed out yet of being an apprentice. I'm about to journey out in like 2 weeks.
Wow, amazing. We have 4 women on in this panel, so that's amazing. And
Yeah, it's awesome.
okay, so we understand now. You get 4 years, and you'll be considered a journey person tile setter in
Correct.
4 years doing the work. And
Mm-hmm.
is that contingent on your work hours, or is that contingent, or you have to
Yes.
work steady and you have to have those classes and okay.
You have to have your classes to be a finisher to journey out. It's 2,000 hours. And
Hmm.
then to be a setter, it's another 2,000 hours. And once you become a setter, you're at 57 an hour. So a lot of people stay finishers, because it's a great job.
Hmm.
And I wish more women would become finishers because it's like a perfect job for a woman. Like organized, clean, like it's
Hmm.
perfect for women. And that tops off at 48 an hour, which is amazing as well.
Do you know how many women is in your local tile
Um,
setters?
Tile setters,
Mm.
there's probably three of us.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's three.
Yeah, you
And
got to talk to our classes because we need to get some
yeah, we
more.
need setters. We need finisher setters. And finishers, there's probably about three girls as well.
Wow. Okay. 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 We need to infiltrate that trade.
Yes, we do. Please.
What did you do, Nelda, before you decided, and what made you decide?
Before
Decide
I
to
did
support-
tile, I was a hairdresser.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did hair. I used to work at the Gold Coast. I worked at a very high-end salon. I
Mhm.
did it for like 12 years. I made amazing money, but honestly, I had my son. My son has special needs. And as a mother, I was like, I need to get into something that has great benefits to get him top of the line care, therapies. And I saw like my uncles and my brother were in the trades and they worked 6 to 2. They were out early every day and making amazing money, great benefits. And I was like, I can do that. That's awesome. And yeah, I joined Chicago Women in Trades and I went in to the program wanting to become a plumber, crazy. And I became a setter and yeah, the benefits and the hours is what really drove me, to be honest. I love getting out of work at 2, 3 o'clock and being home early enough to take care of my child, my family, and all those.
Mhm. It's always interesting to find out what made people look at the trades, and especially coming from being a hairstylist, that's really cool.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Erica, our next woman, I would say, you're a tuck pointer. Tell us your story.
Um, I'm from the west side of Chicago, Humble Park area. Born and raised there. I stayed there for about 26 years. Um, my first job was actually Menards. So it's kind of crazy that I actually am doing construction now. The next, I say 12 years, I was in the warehouse, 12-hour shifts, back and forth. And I have two boys. Well, one young man, he's 21, and an 8-year-old. And at the time, it was just me and my oldest. And everything was going okay. I liked the warehouse, but I wanted to be a surgical RN, but I couldn't afford that. So I had to drop out. I did about almost 40-hour credit hours in college. So I stopped doing that because I couldn't afford it anymore. So I kept working because I have to have health insurance, pay rent and everything. And then around 14 years later, I had my second son, and I was still doing warehouse work. And it was 12-hour shifts, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I was like, I don't like this anymore. I need something else. I need more because I'm tired of, not being at home, not being able to see my kids grow up. And one day when I got off at 6 in the morning, I seen an ad on Facebook, and it was Chicago Women in Trades. And it's kind of like it spoke to me like, hey, lady, like, you ever thought about doing construction? And I was talking back to her like, yeah, I can do it, you know? So I signed up for an informational session, and I came, and actually, I thought it was a scam. I'm not even going to sit here and play around, because they were like, yeah, we all make, I think at the time it was like 40 something dollars an hour. And I was like, nobody's making 40 something dollars an hour without a degree. I was like, I just wasted my time. And then someone showed me their check. I can't remember exactly who. And I seen the numbers on there, and I quit my job the same day. I actually thought that I can do it. It was going to be immediate, but it took me about 7 months to actually get in afterwards, because I had to go through the pre-apprenticeship, and the class was full, and it was like, oh, you're going to have to start, next year. And I was like, no, it can't be. It's not full because I'm not in the class. So I pulled their arm. They put me in the class, which was great. So that started my journey into the construction industry. When I first started, I wanted to be a carpenter. Uh, Not to downplay anything. I'm glad I didn't become a carpenter. I'm a tuck pointer. I love it. It's very hard work. I'm not going to sit here and play around. We are our own labor. Tuck pointing is with the bricklayers. So when the bricklayers lay their brick, it's the joints in between that we have to keep restored. And we also caulk, we also wash. It's a little bit of everything. If you're afraid of heights, my job is not for you. The tallest building I've been on has been 47 stories. So, and that's on the outside of the building. So if you ever been downtown and you see those um, scaffolding that's in the air hanging from the building, that's what I do. I'm actually on one now. I love it. I'm not afraid of heights. Um, at first, when I first started, it was a little, shaky. But once I got that check, it was like, I'm not afraid of anything anymore. So that kind of like, you know, helps out a lot. So that's like one of the main reasons why I actually got into the trade, was because of the money. But after, the first year, I grew to love it. So I don't want to just say it's all about the money, but majority of the reason is because of the money. The benefits I have, I used to pay $500 a month for health insurance just for me and one child. And when I had my second, it was going to go up to $650. Now I pay $0. My union pays for it. The owners pays for it. Nothing comes out of my own pocket itself. So whatever I take home is all my money. I used to wear glasses. Uh, I got LASIK for free. 2015 vision, something that would have cost me $8,000 to $10,000 was free to me because of my insurance. The Bricklayers Union, I can say for me, speaking for myself, it's a great union, because by us being so small in numbers as women, they really do look out for us. I mean, you're not going to always get everything you want. They're always not going to be there to tend to your needs. So you have to have tough skin. You can't come into the construction industry looking for everything to be easy or just given to you because you're a woman. So you have to pull your own weight. As far as my trade, we have free job, which is 8 weeks. It's unpaid, and we get about $25, maybe a little bit more now because I started years ago. So they might give a little bit more um, per week. So at the time, I was getting $25 a week, and that was just enough for gas for the week. And they teach you how to tuck point. They help you with physical training and lifting blocks, lifting bricks. We have weights that we have to carry that's 50 pounds each still. So at a time, I can carry 100 pounds at a time. And it's a 3-year apprenticeship, and it is based on your time. So for me, it took me about 4 years to journey out. But I'm different because I love my winters off. So that's another thing that drew me to this trade. I did not want to do anything in bricklayers, actually. I didn't like how messy it was. The first stop was bricklayers, sorry, Essence. And they took me over there and I seen those blocks. I said, oh no, I cannot, I'm not lifting that. And then they showed me towel and I was like, "Ah, I don't think I want to be on my knees all day." And then they took me to tuck pointers and I was like, oh no, I definitely don't want to do this. And then it was this lady that came up to me. Her name was Helene. And she was like, come here, let me show you. It's not as bad as it seems. So she started tuck pointing and she was putting in the wall like butters, like just nice and smooth. And I say, I think I can do that. That looks so relaxing. It's not relaxing, it's hard work. But at the time, it looked very relaxing. So I signed up for it. And I actually didn't think I was going to be chosen. I was just putting in applications anywhere because I was desperate at this moment. So I put in my applications for carpenters. They chose 2 other women on my class. And I was like, why not me? This is what I wanted to do. I quit my job. I'm blowing through my savings. I'm down near to $0. So I was really down and out at that time. And then they called me and said, I can come and take the test. I went and took the test. I passed the test. They told me to come in for an interview. It was round table, nothing but all men. And I'm sitting there and they looked at me and asked, why should I be chosen? I told them, what I tell everyone else, if you want a great worker, you will hire me. And they told me they'll get back to me. I got an email. They told me to pick up my paperwork, and I did that. My first day of class was April Fool's Day. I thought they were, fooling me or whatever, but it wasn't. So my very first day was April Fool's, and it started my journey to where I am now. I became a foreman earlier this year, and it's a little challenging, but it's nothing I can't handle. Just more mental than anything. So
Well, you said there was 3 years it takes before you can journey out as a tuck pointer, correct?
that's correct.
So, what are the requirements? Is it any different than being a bricklayer or being a tile setter? The requirements to get into tuck pointing.
No, the requirements are the same. It is the hours. So you have to have a certain amount of hours each year. So for me, by me being off every winter because I work outside and it's a certain degree that we can tuck point in, I am off for the winter. So my hours varies. So my usual schedule is March through about Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Now you can work in the wintertime if you want to. We call that blood money.
Mm.
Me, I prefer to keep mine in my body. So I stay at home under my blanket and at home with the kids. So uh, they can get the money that they want. So it took me a little while longer. It took me about 4 years, 4 years and some change for me to journey out. And I believe it's about 3,500. Don't get me wrong, I haven't looked up the stats. It's been a while. Once you accumulate those hours, you are then journeyman. And the test for journeyman is pretty easy if you know your job. If you know your job, the test is easy. I passed mine with 99 questions out of
Mhm.
100. So it's pretty good. And the other requirements, you have class. That's a big one. we have 10 classes that we have to complete a year. And our classes is every Saturday. So as long as you get your Saturday classes out of the way, you are fine. So me, I've always stayed a step ahead. So I would do 20 classes a year. So I do 10 classes on Saturdays, and then throughout the week, when they do have winter session, I'll do an entire week straight. So I will always piggyback and ask for 2 weeks straight. So that give me 20 classes. So I was always ahead, which I didn't know I couldn't do it, but I did it. But so I kind of messed it up for the next generation of tuck pointers coming behind me, because when they found out I was, doing my apprenticeship faster than I should, it kind of like threw things off. But yeah, because I like my Saturdays for the summer. I don't
Mhm.
want to spend it all in class. And
Okay.
you get paid for your classes too. Every
Mhm.
5 classes, they give you a stipend of about $400.
Oh,
Might be
okay.
a little bit more now.
So what are the journeywoman wages now for Tuck Pointer?
Um, I believe now it is $52. Yes, $52 and about 31 cents.
Mhm. Okay. And so
Yeah.
let's make it clear to everyone, when she says $52.31, that does not include what an employer is paying for you, because it's going to be close to 80 or $90, because that's the take home rate that she's getting. But they have to also, that does not include your annuities, your health insurance, and all those things are paid, and then her take home salary is $52 and something an hour. So when you're in the trades, that's how it's always taken off the top. The things that they're putting aside for your retirement, for your health insurance, the employee may be actually paying 99 or so much money for you, but the rate that you're taking home is different. It's maybe 52, 56, depending on what trade you're in. Thank you. Thank you for that. Let me go back to Essence. What surprised you the most when you started in the field as a bricklayer?
Oh, cause I've been through some stuff. Oh my God. When you're an apprentice, especially your first year to 2 years, you're basically a laborer. So you have to you think you're going to get on that wall. You think you're going to touch a trowel. You think, and you might, but it's going to be out of that year you probably touch your trowel for like 30 minutes, hour most. See, now I'm happy that the apprentices, they changed the rules. So now apprentices can only last like 2 hours on a solid day, which is like perfect, because when I started, I was on that saw. Like, I knew exactly where to go. The minute I went to work, I knew exactly where to go. I'm not going up no scaffold. I'm not going up no stairs. I'm going straight to this saw. And although it was like they kind of tell you, like they kind of be like, yeah, you're gonna be on the saw, but it's gonna be okay. No, you're going to live with that saw. You're going to know that saw through and through. But what I tell everybody, if you're on the saw, learn it, because your ability on the saw helps you out there to the point where you don't know. I tell people all the time, like my bosses be amazed at me, because you just got to give me the cut. All I need to know is how far it goes up. Give me, is it 9 foot, 20 foot, 15? I can figure out just how many cuts you need just off that. Let me know how long this wall is going to be, so I know if I got some control joints in the middle, so I know that I got a continuum. I can, I learn layout off of being on the saw
Mhm.
alone. And that kind of shocked me, because I'm thinking I really had to put the stuff in to know what I'm doing. But no, since I'm so, and honestly, I've been on it so long that I'd got good at it. It takes me no time to make any cuts at this point. That's why a part of me don't mind when they like, hey, Essence, can you make a few cuts for me? Sure, because I know at most it's gonna take me 30 minutes, you know? But like knowing that I can lay out a whole wall just off the cuts you give me alone. So if you tell me you need 9 and 5/8, or you need 13s and fives or something like that, oh, we finna run this whole thing, with no problem. It's easy. And a lot of people is going to get mad about it. A lot of people is going to fuss, fight with you, all of that. I was even at a point where I was like, man, I need to call my BA because I'm on this saw way too much. But I have more knowledge than most of my dudes that's in the wall.
So do you
And
think I'm sorry, you think they're doing that because you are a female, or it's just a
depends on your company, depends on your foreman, like my last company I was with, Jimmy Z, I was with them for like 2 years. They never had me on the saw just because I was a woman. They definitely gave me my chance, to get in that wall to prove who I am all day long. They gave me that chance. It's just same thing that Nelda said. We need you to be efficient for us so we could get our stuff in the wall. If every journeyman has to get down to make all of their cuts,
Mhm.
we ain't gonna get that wall up. It's gonna take us much longer. So, hey, apprentice, hey, one of yous make these cuts real quick. This is and they'll give you a list. And if they don't give you a list, you figure out your own list. You go up to that wall, you tell them, you ask them how long is it. Honestly, if you ask them how long the wall is, you're gonna know exactly what cuts you're gonna need.
Okay.
You know, so it's not necessarily like some companies definitely have me on the saw because I was a girl. You're gonna deal with that. You're gonna deal with sexist. You're gonna deal with discrimination. You're gonna deal with a lot of stuff that you probably didn't know that you could deal with. But at the end of the day, it's knowledge in everything that you do. You can learn anything. You feel me? Even just with the little stuff that you do, rubbing walls, patching walls. Now you know how a wall is supposed to look. Now you know what people look for. Now you could point out every mishap, every horrible detail that those journeymen who like to talk mess about you, because some are, you realize all they mistakes, all they screw ups. And that just makes you a better bricklayer, like at the end of the day. So like I guess that was my thing. Me knowing that being on the saw, me learning that me being on the saw helped me learn how to do layout, helped me learn how to look at blueprints, helped me learn all of that stuff. I didn't think I could learn all of that just by cutting some bricks and some blocks. But you can.
Wow. Okay. That's good. How about you, Nelda? What surprised you most when you first started in the field?
Honestly, just the amount of like how little respect women got, and especially like going into such a hard job and atmosphere.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I guess we should have expected that, right? But I guess it surprised me too how much easier it was gonna make my life. Like dealing with that atmosphere and like all that hard work just makes my everyday life that much more easier, to be honest.
I would expect, coming from doing being a hairstylist and going into construction, that had to be an eye opening for you to have to deal with that and being in a male dominated field as
Oh
opposed to.
yeah, definitely. It was a huge change for me. Um, and again, just like the lack of respect that
Mhm.
they give women, which is like crazy to me. It's like men work in offices. I
Mhm.
worked with men at the hair salon and like they were nice and they were respectful. So it's like, why in this atmosphere where women work so much harder do they give us little respect? That's what like blew my mind. But what are you gonna do, right?
Prove them wrong every time.
Exactly. That's all we can do.
Yes. Erica, what would you say surprised you most when you first started in the field?
What surprised me was um, everything that they consider union work. That's what surprised me. I was so oblivious to everything. I was like, this is work. You get paid to do this, you get paid to do that, and you get paid great money for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I wish I would have known about it years ago. Um, as far as like Nelda and Essence was saying, um, we do get little respect on the job as women. Um, but it's changing slowly, but it is a change coming. And I think it's because of the presence that we have now. And they're seeing that we are actually there to do the work just like them. And from time to time, I have to remind them, like, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to take care of my family, just like you're here to take care of your family. You're not going to make my job hard. I'm not going to make your job hard. So we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Me, I like to match energy. So if you give me a certain energy, you're going to get it back. So I've always had that mentality. So I just tell them just like this: strap up your boots because I will run you over. You know, I'm not here to play with you. I understand that we are entering your space where you done had it for many, many years. But we've also been in this space for many, many years as well. When you go back to the 1930s and things like that, you see the women on the ships and they're sitting there, they're painting, they're welding. You know, we helped send space into the spaceships into the space. So we've always been there. So you have to realize that. And then, you know, I might not be able to do every exact thing that you guys can do, but I know that whatever I can do it a little bit better. Because, like Essence say, a lot of them, you are mediocre. I see it, and I don't say anything, but I notice. And you know what else they notice about me? That when I come and do a job, they always tell me if I can clone you, I will hire as many women for my company more than a man. And my work speaks for itself. It's the skills. It's just there. But I train hard and I don't stop. Every day I learn. And when I first started, they wanted me to do labor, but I will go up to them and say, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I would not stop until they put me there. And that's how I just kept climbing the wall and climbing. So it's about your mentality. You have to have a strong mind. So that's why I give the most praise to God, because without him, I wouldn't have this mind. I wouldn't have this strength that I have if it wasn't for him. So, whatever they throw at you, you just maneuver, Heisman Trophy, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
And that is so absolutely true. You have to have the right mindset because that's not a place, even when they try to break you for tears. If you have, I tell some of the students today, if you want to cry, go to the car because nobody's going to feel sorry for you out there. They're going to
Mhm.
tease you and make it harder for you. But to try to pull up and muster enough strength to stand tall in whatever you do, but make sure you do your work well because that is the one thing that should speak for you is how well you do your work. How many women are there in tuck pointing? I didn't get a chance to ask you because I know there are not many.
Um, I believe I'm not sure of the exact number, but in Illinois, I believe there's about 10,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been generous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
But-
still that's
right.
in the field that's still working.
So I can imagine there's no job that you see another tuck pointer on as female.
Actually, I do have two women tuck pointers at my job now currently, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't get to work with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We may see each other here and there, but they will never really put us together. Um, for women in our trade nationwide, I believe it's about 150. Is that correct, you ladies? 150
I
Wow.
think so. Yeah,
nationwide,
I think
and
so.
that's with
Yeah.
retirees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, one thing about our local and our union period is we're one of the oldest unions
Mhm.
in international for sure, but we do hold the least amount of women. Like no matter what state, no matter where we go, we have the least amount of women.
Wow. Well, since I have you right there, Essence, tell me this: what personal strength and or mindsets help you succeed on the job site? Because that's so important for us when we get out there, being women out on the field in the trade. What would you say was your own personal strength?
It just lasts 8 hours. I just got to get through my 8 hours or my 10 hours,
Mhm.
and then I get to go home. I'm not the type of person, believe it or not, like I'm not a big socialist, especially like once they show me who they are, I definitely don't want to eat with you. So like I go to my car for lunch. We don't have nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? And they hate it. They hate it. They be like, why don't you eat with us? It's nothing to talk about, especially with the way y'all treat people in here. And these is dudes who got wives themselves. They
Mhm.
got daughters, and the way that they go and discriminate against women alone just because it makes them feel a little bit better during the day. I just think to myself, I just got to get through 8 hours. I just got to make it to Wednesday. I just got to make it to Friday. And
Mhm.
then I'm off Saturday and Sunday, unless I got overtime. But other than that, you just got to get through it. My biggest asset I use at work, honestly, is my chest. I
Mhm.
tell all the women who come to us, especially if you lay in block, we got what men don't have. Use your chest. Rest something on your chest. Take you a little breather because they don't get to do that. Like, so that's one of my biggest strengths, of course. But like when I'm going through just trying to get through my day, I just look at the time. Okay, I've been here 2 hours, 58 minutes. I got about a good 6 hours and 2 minutes to go, or 5 hours, 2 minutes to go. I'll be okay. Let me
You
just
have to love what you do to work in that atmosphere or the environment where you feel like you can self isolate because you don't want to be around
but
some of
just
the company.
yeah, but just like energy, Erica say, I match energy. Oh, you want to come talk to me crazy? That's completely fine. I'm going to talk to you back the same exact way. And we can see honestly whose mouth is crazy. Because I
Hmm.
promise you it's going to be mine every time. And they hate it. They hate it. They hate when you stand up for yourself. They hate when you show them that you're not just some little girl here. Oh, they hate it. And I love it. They frown. I laugh. It's honestly one of the best parts of my day.
Well, you really have to have a kind of tough mentality to be in that environment.
Especially in our trade, because like I said, we don't have a lot of women. We not like carpentry or the electricians or the plumbers and stuff like that, where they get abundance of women who wants to come in and take them tests. Because like Erica said, they hear bricklaying, or they come to our stuff and they see the blocks that we gotta carry, or they see they see how dirty we get alone. They be like, ew, ew, no, I'm not doing that. So like we have to not just stand up for us, like, but then us standing up for us, let them know too that like you're not finna treat another woman like this either. I don't care if the other woman on my job is a electrician, a iron worker, or anything. No one's able to disrespect any woman in my presence
Hmm.
at all. I stand up for them and they reciprocate. They stand up for us too. So yeah, you definitely have to be tough in this field. You 100% have to be tough. That's why like every CWIT class I ever talk to, I let them know if you don't got tough skin, you might as well leave now because it's a dog eat dog world out there. And yes, we make great money, but we go through a little hell to get it.
Right, right.
So
Mhm. Absolutely. And I'm glad you do We try to make it as real as possible for our participants, and we do tell them the truth. We tell them the good and the ugly about working in construction. And it's good when we have people to come back to reiterate those points from working in the field. So we appreciate that too. How about you, Nelda? What personal strengths or mindsets help you succeed on the job?
Honestly, just focusing on Nelda
Mhm,
and honing in and learning my trade and being confident every day in
mhm,
my work, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not their way. I just always try to stay positive and yeah, just focus and really zone in on what I'm doing. And I don't really like focus on what everybody else has going on, to be honest.
right.
And just do my job. And I feel like they love that more, the guys,
Mhm,
that I just keep to myself and I'm just and still try to be helpful, like, hey, do you need help with that? No, we're okay, cool. um just being positive has always worked for me. I'm just a positive person in life, so I just go there and I act the same way I would at any other job, you know?
right. And what about you, Erica? What personal strength would you say or mindset help you succeed on the job?
Um, I think my strengths come from their weaknesses, their projections. I've learned my skill. Uh, I do it well, so that helps me. For me, in my opinion, it helps me because I've noticed, like, for example, if we're doing a certain machine, and they'll say, "Well, I'm just going to come along for the ride." Me not knowing that maybe they just want to see if I can do it.
Hmm.
But in actuality is they don't know how to do it. But I do. So by me learning more and more each day on how can I make myself better? How can I stay employable? You come over here and you make yourself seem so big and you know this amount and you've been doing it for these many years. But I'm actually been able to show up on you.
Hmm.
So that makes me move throughout the day, you know. And I just don't look back, and I just think about the weekly benefits that I'm getting every week, and
Hmm.
not losing my cool and keeping everything just going. That's all I can really say, and stand level headed.
Well, and it's so important because when we're out there, and I'm speaking because I don't know if I mentioned that I'm a tradeswoman as well to the audience, but I'm an electrician too. But I know the work that we do and the example we set helps break the stereotypes they have about women. Once they know they experience working side by someone who know their job or do their job and not expecting the help that they think we're too, helpless and we need their help to do things. But when we prove we know our jobs, that changed the mindset of men a lot of times. And they're asking, I know as in this position as a director, they always tell me, hey, I work with Erica. I know she, we need some more women tuck pointers out here. So I know a lot of times we're breaking barriers and we don't see it all the time, but it comes to us and behind the scenes working, how well some of the women out there are doing and how they would love to see more women out there. And that's because those expectations have changed. So I appreciate the work that you all are doing out there as well. So let me ask you another question. If someone was curious about entering the trades, what's the first thing you'll tell them to do? And let me start off with you, Essence.
I tell them to apply. You don't know what you're capable of until you do it at the end of the day. So the first thing I'll tell them to is if that's what you want to do, if go for it. The only person who tells you no is you at the end of the day. And then after that, I'm gonna tell them just make sure you got tough skin.
Is
You
there
got
any other ways they should prepare themselves for it?
well, like I say, if they go through Chicago Women in Trade like we did, they're lucky because they help you get ready for all of that aptitude tests, financial literacy, just body wise, physical, all of that stuff. They help you with all of that. So I definitely feel like if they come through CWIT, they definitely have like a extra foot in the door, because also a lot of our apprentice training centers and stuff here, Chicago Women in Trades, and they instantly think, oh, you got a little bit of experience. But what I say, one, like bricklayer wise, get your core. Your core is going to be like your main asset. Never use your legs, never use your back. Your core is going to help you a lot. And if you can get your core together, um those blocks will be nothing to you. Those blocks will be nothing to you. I could pick up 3 blocks at a time, you know, two on the shoulder, one dangling from the other arm, boom, hit it. Just apply, work on your core, and as long as you could be efficient, you got it. You're good. You're golden.
Because we didn't touch on the physical workouts that you do as an apprentice in your trade, because I know that they have to carry 50-pound buckets on each hand
That's
sometimes.
the tuck pointers. Oh, that's the hell the tuck pointers got to go through. We're pretty basic over here. A few block ups. Now our hard part gets to when we have to walk our blocks all the way around the building. So they make you go outside and you have to walk it all the way around. And then that's when you're gonna feel like your arms are like dying,
Hmm. Hmm.
dying. But you get through that building with the other buildings you're gonna have to do later in life, and all the stairs you're gonna have to go up, it's nothing. It's gonna be nothing.
Hmm.
So they'll be fine. That 50-pound bucket mess. That's all tuck pointers all day. I don't know what's wrong with them over there. But yeah.
Well, I know they weed some people out doing that. So
Yeah.
now, I forgot to touch on the physical points that you all have to do, because I know some of it is very strenuous coming from some of the students that have gone through that. So Nelda, what if someone is curious about entering trade? What is the first thing you'll tell them to do?
Honestly, kind of like what Essence said, like I would honestly suggest like a Chicago Women in Trades or some kind of trade program. There's so many now, to be honest, whatever you feel comfortable with, but there's so much to the trades that we don't know about. And like I said, I went in wanting to become a plumber, and then when I saw what a plumber actually does, I was like, oh God, no. So I would definitely say do your research, get into like a good program. Definitely do your research. YouTube has all sorts of videos now that you can watch and see what the jobs really entail. But yeah, just do your research, and they're really not that scary. It's hard, but we do a lot of hard work. Like Essence said, the bucket, whatever. We carry 50-pound bags of mortar and tile and everything. So it is strenuous, but get your body in good physical shape and do your research.
And that's a very important point, because a lot of times, first day of class, I love asking the students, what do you want to do? And everybody either want to be a carpenter or electrician. But by the time you get through with every field trip is changed. Oh, now I want to be an iron worker. So it's really important not only to do your research, but to
Yes.
get into a program that will give you a idea of what each of those trades do. Because just because you see it doesn't mean that's something that's going to actually fit you. Because if
Right.
that's the case, I would have been a stripper and a welder from watching Flashdance in I think the 80s. So,
Right. You have to be real with the person you are. Like I
mhm.
said, I can't be outside, so I wanted to be inside.
Right, right, right. Yes, absolutely. So that is very a good point, though, to do your research. What about you, Erica? If someone is curious about internet trades, what's the first thing you tell them to do?
Exercise. You need
Mm.
a whole lot of it. Luckily, I came through Chicago Women in Trade, and we had Psycho Barbie who stayed on us. And then once I actually got into the trades, it was a totally different monster. and I noticed that I wasn't fully there yet. So, for instance, one guy told me, "Oh, you can't carry this sheet of plywood. You shouldn't be a tuck pointer. I don't know why you joined." So later on that day, I called someone from Chicago Women in Trade, a carpenter, and came to CWIT, and they showed me how to lift the plywood by myself and for my height because I'm only 4'11", but I feel like I'm 5'8". But that's a whole nother story. But they taught me how to lift the plywood by myself. So when I went back to work the next day, I was lifting that plywood. And don't be afraid because each day is going to get easier. The more you move, the more you lift, it's going to start feeling like a feather. And I literally, after about a month, when I would get undressed in front of the mirror, I thought I was swollen. I was like, oh my God, I'm so swelled up. And then I raised my arms and I was like, oh, these are muscles. They were like this. So, it is very, very good. So don't be afraid that you can't do it. I didn't even know how to do it. Now you can't tell me nothing, nothing at all. I can move it, I can do it. And if you're on a job, there is somebody that's willing to help you if you need a two-man crew. So don't be afraid to just jump out there.
That is so awesome to think about. But I know physical fitness is very important. I mean, if you come in unfit and you do make it in, you're going to have a longer time to getting yourself. But if you come in having had started some type of routine or have had Psycho Barbie because she whips people in shape in the 10-week or 12-week of the class time. But that is so important. Not only that, because your body is basically your first tool. That's the one thing that you have to keep in shape because if you're injured, you can't work. So yes, it's so important that you're physically fit. So I'm taking you do the research to find out what careers you'd be interested in. Hopefully you will get into a program that will show you some of those trades and you'll be able to get a better understanding of what careers are provided because I know people would have no idea that under the umbrella of bricklayers, there are the tuck pointers, there is the tile setters, bricklayer, and then what else is under your umbrella of trade?
Terrazzo,
Mm-hmm.
Plaster.
plasterer,
Mm-hmm.
marble, stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a plethora of careers that we have not even covered here, but we get a chance to see that when our classes come there too. But I want to thank you all, and we're going to take some questions. So see if anyone have questions. So we'll have a chance to also to do the mentor meters. So we'll open this up for questions. If anyone have questions of Essence, Erica, and Nelda, please feel free to ask them now. And you can come in, unmute yourself and ask the questions if you like. And while we're waiting for questions, was there anything you all want to add about anything that you may have felt was left out?
Um, Having other women in the trades that you can rely on, like Chicago Women in Trade, they say, you are a sisterhood. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have my own section of sisters that I, talk to on it may not be every day, but it's like whenever we meet up, it's like we never stop talking. So a lot of that helps out, whenever there's a problem, especially if I feel like I'm going to blow up, I can just make a call and then they'll get me straight and we say whatever we got to say since this is a panel. I'm going to keep it nice. We say whatever we have to say and then, we go back to work. It's all water under the bridge. So having that little nest right there,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it so much better, especially when we do our parade once a year with all the other women from all the way around the United States.
Kenny, I have a question from the chat, and it's from Gia. Is there anything you know now you wish you knew when you started? If each of you all can answer that.
I wish I knew what bricklaying was. Uh, I wish I knew it would be, man, I would, you know what, because I came into the trades thinking, I came into Chicago Women in Trades thinking that there were only carpenters, plumbers, electricians. I didn't know that there was a whole different world out there with like 100 other trades. I would have never guessed that. I would have never known that. So like I wish I knew, and I'm glad that I did stumble upon this because like Renee said, like when you first walk into that classroom, that's all everybody wants to be. They raise their hand, oh, I want to be a carpenter, I want to be a plumber, I want to be an electrician. And I finally found someone. I seen my mentor who was my teacher at the same time. And I was like, well, what do you do? Because she's just this big, buff, little 4'11" person walking through the class. I was like, well, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a bricklayer. That sounds different. That sounds like something I'm going to be. Yeah, I like that. Um, so yeah, I just wish I knew that there were so many other trades out there before um I started CWIT. Yeah.
Okay. Erica?
I wish that I would have known about this when I was younger. I wish I would have known about the trades when I was in my prime out of high school years,
Yeah,
but
same.
I try not to dwell on it because maybe it would have been different. I might not have survived then because I was a little more softer then. So everything happens for a reason.
No, it's okay because I came straight out of high school and I got to work like a good 40 years before I can retire. You guys, you guys did right because I think about me having a journey. Me having to retire at 63 and I'm only 27 and I pray for me. So,
That's true. We feel like we're a little closer being old ladies.
But I get that a lot from people who come for information sessions, and our average age of students at Chicago Women Trades are between 27 and 32. And a lot of them say that though, I wish I knew this when I was in high school. And we're trying to rectify that by educating the counselors because it would be nice if they start as Essence did, as young as she did. You have more energy at that age, Essence, because I'm sure Erica and Nelda is feeling it a little harder right now.
Yeah, definitely. But
But
the bad thing is about the high schools, I go to the high schools all the time. They don't believe me that I make that much money.
hmm
I
They're
think it's a
never, they're,
scam.
yeah, they're always like, there's no way. There's no way you do that. Do they pay you to just come and say this? I'm like, oh my God. So that's rough too, you know?
right, absolutely, absolutely. But did you answer that for us too? What would anything you know now that you wish you knew when you started, Nelda?
I feel like the same. Like I just wish I would have gotten in younger. But again, when I was younger, I was very egotistical, so maybe things wouldn't have been the same. I feel like being a mother going into trades and having more patience helped me. Um, but no, you know what? I wish I knew how dirty our trade really, really was, and I should have became an electrician. Like they asked me to. But like again, just do your research and you won't wish anything. You will just know what you're getting yourself into and it'll be all good.
Yeah, because that's a really good thing. But I want to thank you all for absolutely taking this time out this evening. And I thank the audience too. And I know we'll have some questions that we can answer on the survey. And thank you all. But you're special to me. You know that each of you all for taking this time out. And I know someone may have heard a message they're going to benefit from for their future. So thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem, anytime.
All
Oh,
right. Thank you, ladies. This was a great session. I'm excited for you. Now I want to switch gears a little bit and kind of do a little bit of an evaluation, and you all can participate in it as well. So let me cue it up for everybody. and we'll get started. So the first question is, in a word, describe your biggest takeaway. What is your biggest takeaway today?
Do everyone know how to get on the multimeter? Mentimeter?
Has everyone had a chance to click the screen? It'll take you to an external link and you should be able to access Mentimeter.
Mm,
I still don't see it.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a QR code that could probably? But most of you are on your phones, right? I know Essence.
I'm on my iPad.
I'm on the computer. It's just say, and one
Uh,
word, describe your biggest takeaway.
And I think there's going to be a link to the web link as well, dropped in the chat.
we can say it out loud for you if you.
No, they have to record.
Oh, okay.
In the chat too, you should be able to go to menti.com and put that code in, and it will come in.
So you should see Mentimeter on your right-hand panel. I can see it on my end, so I know it's working, but I'm not sure why it's not picking up on your end. Okay. I'm going to try and share it one more time.
So like it comes up on your desktop. It shows us on your desktop, but we don't have a link or anything
Let me
to
see.
get to it.
If
Hold
you
on,
go to
put that right there. I can put in a code right there.
Yeah.
if you go to menti.com on your phone, it will come up, and then in the chat there's a code you can put in, and you'll be able to answer those questions.
Okay. 163.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you. How about you, Essence?
I got it. Those are my two words.
Gotcha. Nell, do you have it as well? Okay, I'll give you guys a few more minutes to go ahead and add your biggest takeaway. Strength, knowledge, yeah. Passion. What else do we have? Endurance, gainful employment. Yes. Anything else? More knowledge, strength, fit, meaning being fit, educational, informative. Great, great. What else do we have? Persistence. Excellent. All right, let's take the next slide. Please share your views on this panel discussion by rating the following statements, 1 being the lowest to 10 being the highest. To what extent did this panel discussion meet your expectations? How likely are you to attend a similar event in the future? And how likely are you to recommend a panel discussion to others? All right, we have a few responses. They're coming in. Thank you. Is there anyone else? We have about 11 people in the room. All right, great. Give you about 20 more seconds. All right, let's go on to the next one. The panel discussion topics were relevant to what I wanted to learn about this subject matter. Strongly disagree to strongly agree, and they will switch rooms and move around a bit, but strongly agree, yes. Thank you. Anyone else want to add to that? Somewhat agree. We have about 4 people responding. A few more people can be respond to this question? All right, let's go on to the next slide. Again, from strongly disagree to strongly agree, the panelists shared relevant information to what I wanted to learn about women in the trades. Okay, we have strongly agree and strongly disagree and somewhat agree. A little mixture there. All right. Relevant information about what I wanted to learn about women in the trades. Good. All right, let's go on to the next slide. I plan to apply what I learned. Again, the same set from strongly disagree to strongly agree. All right. So we have neither agree or disagree. We have strongly agree. I plan to apply what I learned. All right. Let's go on to the next slide. What improvements or additions might you recommend for women in trades in future panel discussions? So if we were to do another one of these sessions, what do you think would add value? What improvements might you recommend? Okay, we have NA, not applicable. Anything else? Is there any other trade you would like to see discussed? PowerPoints with requirements, more people for the panel to share experiences. It was great. NA, any other comments? Actionable steps at the end to spread awareness. That's a really interesting one. Thank you for sharing that. Any other ones? Okay, let's move on. Oh, here we go. One more. This was a great session. They asked the right questions. I would love to hear from the carpenters. And we do have a video that is recorded and archived in our partner guide for carpenters. So that's available. The partner guide has been link has been dropped into the chat, and you can copy it and save it if you want to access it later. The next question says, what did you find effective? If we make changes, what would you recommend we keep? So given this presentation, what did you think was effective about it? Women sharing their experiences. Yes. The information was good. Yes. Anything else? Maybe about 30 seconds. Honest responses. Absolutely. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. Is there anything else about this presentation or this panel discussion you think we should know? I'll give you a few minutes to think about that. Is there anything else about this panel discussion you think we should know? Well, so far, non-applicable. Any other thoughts? Someone said nothing. I take it that we did a great job. Anyone else before we close out our session? Maybe a few seconds more. Okay. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. This was a great session, and thank you to all of our panelists, Nelda, Essence, and Erica. You did a great job tonight.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you all.
So you all have a wonderful evening and a good night. Bye-bye.
Yes,
Thank you, Aletta.
You're
Bye.
welcome.